Welcome into 300 yards to unknown. That right there, that's Eric Patterson joining me as he does every single week to talk about whatever's going on. Pat, what's going on?
Not too much. I'm just kind of looking over the winning team I just drafted in our little mock season here. I think I did pretty well, so it should be a cruise till the end of December, mid-December.
I don't think. Okay, we're gonna talk about that because I got some questions for you. I'm not sure you've got the winning squad just yet, but we'll jump into that. The big news of the week: Dustin Johnson, number one player in the world, test positive for COVID and is out for the CJ Cup, which is unfortunate. It's a shame. What was your initial reaction? I know it's a lot like me. When something like that drops, it's like somebody pulled a fire alarm and we've got stuff we've got to do. But what was your initial reaction to when this news came out?
So last week we said that Finau was the biggest name that tested, and then as soon as the Finau news came out, and then as soon as I was looking away doing something else, I get a notification saying, I guess Finau is no longer the biggest name with COVID. So that's unfortunate. But I guess that's what happens when you spend a few weeks outside of the PGA Tour bubble. Maybe a testament to how tight the bubble actually is. Maybe we're not giving it enough credit, but I think, it sucks that it happened to DJ. It sucks it happened at this point, but hopefully he's back for the Masters, because I mean, if it's, I don't know exactly how it works, but hopefully he's back in time for Augusta. I think he should be ready for the Houston Open. It's when it's number one player in the world, the tournament favorite for a big week. It sucks.
Don't quote me on this, but I think it is now 10 days you have to isolate. And then I think you have to test negative twice 24 hours apart, something like that.
Sounds very accurate. Yeah, because I think Finau was anticipating to play this week. So I was surprised to see him in the field list, actually, because he just tested, positive a week ago or whatever it was. Maybe it was right in that 10-day threshold. But he even committed to this week and then said, I guess he had to pull out, or he hasn't quite recovered. So it's a little bit of a gray area, but yeah, DJ will be out the next few weeks, but I mean, I can't see it going until Augusta, but I don't want to speak too far ahead or look too far ahead.
Right. Finau's positive test was before the Shriners. And I guess, because you have to commit by Friday, he says, okay, I'll be in the CJ Cup, but he did not pass the proper protocol to eventually play and get back in. So he WDs again. I assume we're going to be close to getting Tony Finau back. Maybe, I don't know, maybe next week if he wants to play.
Yeah, probably next week. But DJ committed to this week. He committed to the Zozo, committed to Houston. So I would expect to see him back at the Houston Open. But again, who knows how long it'll take him to recover. But yeah, it point blank sucks when it's the number one player in the world. If this was, this was Patrick Mahomes, or if this was, one of the best players in baseball testing positive, it'd be a lot bigger news. But golf just continues to move ahead, is what it is. We're used to it at this point, I think.
Yeah, I think that DJ, by all accounts, did what, we hear all the time with guys protecting the field. That's on the course, keeping an eye on your playing partners, making sure they're taking drops in the right spots, not backstopping, you're protecting the field. Apparently DJ does the same thing here, which is he wasn't feeling well. He asked for another COVID test because he tested negative, I think Sunday.
Right.
And then he tests positive, but that's him doing his job, knowing that if he does test positive, he's got to withdraw from an event that has a $10 million purse, and that stinks and all that stuff. But he does what he has to do to make sure that the tour keeps rolling on.
Yeah, definitely props to him because he did have that negative test. There's maybe part of him that could have said, it's not COVID and continued to move ahead and play this week. But I guess the symptoms were bad enough where he would have to alert someone. And it's a nice wake up call for the rest of the tour, the rest of the top guys, knowing that Augusta is quickly approaching. You would not want to be, you wouldn't want to be doing this the week of the Masters or 2 weeks before the Masters. So I think, everyone who's in that field will be tightening their circle and taking extra precaution, because that would be a tough blow to have to skip the November Masters because of COVID.
Yeah, we tried to record the First Cut podcast on CBS Sports at right as this news dropped. We were like, all right, let's get started. And it was like, oh no, we got to go do now, like breaking news. We got to go do HQ. We got to do all this other stuff. So when we got back on, Kyle Porter, he basically had the same sentiment, which is like, if you're Rory McIlroy, if you're some of these guys that are like laser focused on Augusta, you are probably locking it down the next 4 weeks. Like, you are not leaving your house. You are not taking any unnecessary risk, because could you imagine, you get so few cracks at something like Augusta, to miss out because you tested positive would be terrible anyway. But like, you got to imagine these guys are going into lockdown.
Right. Yeah. And again, goes back to the bubble, like staying in the PGA Tour bubble might be the safest place to be. So, yeah, I guess players are going to make their schedules, are going to do what they got to do. But one player that does, come into question here, who's now outside of the bubble, is Bryson. And I just pray that he's doing whatever he needs to do to stay safe, because he is not going to be getting tested with as much regularity as these other guys that are playing the next few weeks. So, yeah, it's definitely a red alert time for the top players in the world.
The other big boy making his return to golf this week is Brooks Koepka. I have no idea what to expect from his play. I have no idea what to expect from his body. I've kind of, at this point, EPAT, thrown my hands up in the air, and I am just a viewer of Brooks Koepka. I'm just going to watch, and whatever happens, happens.
It's pretty crazy to think that, people were saying he was optimistic about how he felt, how his body was, but it sounded like what they were doing in the last couple months was a lot of like almost Band-Aid type work, where he said he got cortisone, which is great. That doesn't last forever. It actually, in theory, makes it worse over time.
Right. Yeah.
I can speak from personal experience. Getting too many of those is not great for the body. And then he had more work done on his knee. So it's a knee and a hip now. Sounds like he's just piecing it together. Obviously, he feels good now. He should probably feel good for the next few weeks. But to say he has a torn labrum in his hip is not what you want to hear from someone who's getting cortisone shots, because it could go any week. So it's unfortunate, but he's going to keep powering through.
I'm zooming out on Brooks Koepka. I'm taking this from 30,000 feet instead of just like week by week. And now we are a year into this knee injury, like this week last year, right? Or CJ Cup week. Yeah. Okay. So we're a year into the injury. In that year, he has had 2 different fairly extended stints of time off for rehab, which may or may not work. He has said things like, it may never be 100% again. He has said things like, it hurts to walk downhill. And he has said things like, if this cortisone doesn't work, you're looking at surgery and 9 months off. I don't know, EPAT. That doesn't sound very optimistic to me.
Not at all like that. Again, we've talked about this before. Like, just go fix it. Go do what you got to do. Stop with these. I mean, he's getting professional advice. Who am I to be telling Brooks Koepka what type of medical treatments to get?
Could you imagine Brooks Koepka taking the next 9 months off when there's 5 majors in these 9 months?
That's true. Yeah. But no, that now might not be the best time. Hopefully this cortisone sticks for a year and a half, however long it's going to hold. But I want him healthy. I want him back. It's good to have him back. I listened to that press conference yesterday, and he goats you into thinking he's ready to win.
I know.
You got asked. Obviously, it's a bad question on the surface. People are like, "What's a good week for you this week?" And he goes, "A win." It's like, obviously he's going to say a win. He's not just looking to get through 4 rounds, but every week he shows up and he starts doing that strut where he thinks he's the king of the town. So
he's so swaggy.
He's back, but he also I guess it was at the PGA where he was talking about he doesn't want to make any excuses. He doesn't want these injuries to be excuses. And then yesterday he did actually admit, saying, yeah, that's the entire reason why I was playing like shit was because of the injury. So he's gone complete 180 on that stance.
All right, we'll keep an eye on Brooks Koepka. That. I don't know. I'm done trying to guess what I think is going to happen. I'm just gonna see what happens. It's unbelievable. You and I, thank you very much, by the way, participated in a fantasy draft this morning. This is our continued tire kicking of season-long fantasy golf, what the best way to do it is, if it's even worth it. And we did a 12-team snake draft this morning for the next 7 weeks. So from now to Mayakoba, we are going to test this out. We're going to see how it goes. And you have already declared your team as the team to beat. Now, before I list that team and discuss it, what did you think of the season-long draft aspect, trying to pick golfers? It was weird for the next 7 weeks, but what did you think overall?
I liked it. It was I will say you cannot have auto drafters in this format because the rankings are so off. Until they fix that, you better be in person with a good set of rankings. But it made you think about maybe because it was a 7-week window that we're doing it. I was thinking about like who's going to play well at the RSM Classic, who might show up to Mayakoba. Not necessarily just picking the best player available at that time. But I think it definitely has legs. I enjoyed we only did it for like an hour, 30 minutes. It was fast, but definitely some different strategies taken by every player, I guess, in the league.
We used Fantrax, which they rank based on total fantasy points. So for example, if you are Adam Schenk and you play 45 times a year, you're like the number 1 ranked player over Rory McIlroy because he plays 15 times a year. So you do have to be prepared. Like it would be a cheat sheet would be a must if you wanted to do something like this.
And then if you search by fantasy points per game, which you'd figure is like, these are the best guys every time they tee it up. It was like, I didn't even remember. Paul Waring might have been number 1.
He played like one time.
Yeah. So throw those out the window. Then like total birdies again goes back to whoever plays the most. They didn't have like a world ranking or money earned from last season, which I think would have helped. But yeah, you had to do a little bit of custom ranking yourself. But other than that, I had a blast for that short little sprint.
We are at the infancy of this, so I assume lobbies will get better. Also, quick side note, there is a data provider out there somewhere that has put the entire industry in shambles. I don't know if you saw this, Pat. FanDuel was unable to update their live scoring. Yahoo was having issues. Fantrax also having issues. So I don't know. They almost use the same data provider that they're all kind of passing the blame onto, but not great.
Yeah, things are shutting down. I wasn't exactly following what was going on with the fantasy stuff, but I saw that there were a lot of miscalculation in points scoring, just things completely out of whack. Fantasy industry was a little turned upside down for a few days there.
And apparently not really back to normal yet. I don't know. We'll see. I think FanDuel on the fly has changed data providers, which I cannot even imagine knowing and having databases, how hard that must have been, but I guess they have the resources to do it. The smaller sites trying to change on the fly and probably don't have the staff or the bandwidth to do it as quickly as FanDuel did.
I actually think the Score, the app that I work for, is going through a change in data provider as well. So maybe there is, I don't know what happened, but those, I think Stats is the big one, just pure stats.
Yes. But
I'm not sure they're all, maybe someone's combining teams or what's going on, but
yeah, I don't know, but everybody was up in arms. Let's look at your team here. I want to see if I have it in the order in which you drafted them though. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, you had to go back to I went back to the draft room and then clicked like the full grid view to see everyone's picks, but not easiest. Again, Fantrax probably doesn't have all the resources to make their site the best interface, but it is what it is for now.
Yeah, what I will say is, in my little experience with Fantrax, it works. It does what you want it to. It ain't pretty, but it'll do the job. Okay, so let's first of all, your first 3 picks. Let me get your thoughts on the first 3 picks. Justin Thomas, Matthew Wolff, Sung Jae Im. JT will presumably play 3 times in this 7-week stretch, right? Probably CJ, Zozo, Augusta, I would think.
Yep, that sounds right.
Wolff might play more than that. That's kind of interesting. He might play those 3 and maybe 1 more. Would he sneak in The interesting one's Houston. Do guys want to play the week before a major or not? Some guys are very, very hard on that. They either do or they don't. But that adds one other start, and only 7 is a big deal.
Yeah. So I didn't really consider that. What I was initially building for was, get your this week start, good pick for this week, probably next week, and then the Masters is what my initial target were. So I don't mind those first 3 picks. Wolf should play this weekend next, and then he'll be there at the Masters.
He might just play all 7.
He might play all 7. He'd be definitely one of like the top picks in a full season just because of how much he plays. JT, I think that's a safe number 1 now that DJ. I think DJ would have been number 1 if he had remained in the field this week. So even like the first 3 picks, it's usually in football there's like a consensus. If you're going outside these 4 or 5 running backs, you're pretty crazy. But for golf, I think you can kind of go anywhere. So it's hard to really criticize a pick.
Yeah, you really can. You were in the 5th spot. You took John Rahm with your first overall pick. What were you? I mean, obviously that's a great pick. He's like the 2nd ranked player in the world or whatever. Did you have a strategy here? Or was it just best available golfer at that?
Best available. I know he's playing next week as well at the Zozo, so I should get 3 starts out of probably the favorite in 3 events, or top 3 favorite in all 3 events. So, it was, I guess, between him or Xander, but I'll just take Rahm.
All right. When it loops back to you, you took what I would say, this has to be the most controversial pick of the entire draft. You took Bryson.
I didn't think it was, but maybe looking back, it might cost me. But
you took Bryson DeChambeau.
This is where I have my Augusta roster, and all the events are weighted the same, which I'm not sure how you do it, but I think there should be some credence to having a better team at the Masters compared to Bermuda Championship.
That's a good point.
So if I have Rahm Bryson at the Masters, I think I could have 2 top 5 finishers there. No, like pretty easily, I think. Bryson is only playing the one time, which in hindsight is what it is. But to have the Masters favorite in the 2nd round, I was gonna go Koepka because I know he is playing Houston, but
I kind of went back and forth on this because I think like your bottom 3 guys. You probably churn through them a lot, right? Week in, week out, just trying to find guys. So maybe it is good to just kind of go top heavy. So here's your full team in order in which you drafted it. John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Tommy Fleetwood. That was very on brand. Sergio Garcia playing well right now. Then you finished it up with Gary Woodland, JT Poston, Brian Harmon, and Adam Long. The last 2, Harmon and Long, were guys I was trying to get towards the end of this draft. So it looks like you've covered yourself for at least this week, right? So who are you gonna start this week?
I'll be going Rahm, Fleetwood, Sergio, Woodland, probably.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
And I think those, if I would assume most of them are playing next week at Zozo, and then I think Poston, Harmon, Long, that could be the top of the RSM leaderboard, could be the top of the Mayakoba leaderboard, Bermuda, Houston. So I
actually think this is pretty good because you might start the same 4 guys, and I might do the same like this week and next week. And then you have to pivot to these off weeks, and you have guys that are certainly going to play them all. I like that a lot.
So for this short sprint, after the Masters, there was two tournaments, 3 tournaments.
Yeah.
Like I could just drop Bryson.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you could just get rid of him.
If he's not playing. I mean, that's not how it would go for a full season, but if you need to get the 4th guy in there,
RSM,
there's gonna be a lot of turnover.
RSM and Mayakoba would be the last 2 after Augusta. My team: Hideki, Harris English, Doc Redman, Will Zalatoris, Russell Henley, Mac Hughes, and then I hate my last 2, Carlos Ortiz and Justin Suh. So for me this week, I'll probably go Hideki English, Henley Hughes, and then I'll have Doc and Will, who will probably play the other events. Henley, Hughes could play those. And then I'll probably churn Ortiz, and so those guys might never start for me.
You've got the Bermuda lineup. You got the Mayakoba lineup down. I was waiting for Hughes to fall, but obviously you scooped him before I could have done that. There were some names that like Jason Day in the 6th round. Like this is just how the rankings kind of went. And if you weren't really paying attention, some names would fall. Like Mark Leishman's pretty late, but like these guys in theory for a full season wouldn't go that late, I don't think. And then we had like a few auto pickers, so there's a couple ugly teams, but all in all, it's going to be interesting to see how guys manage their lineups throughout the little short season we got going.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a sprint. It'll be fun. I appreciate you joining us for it, and then we'll figure out, work the kinks out and see what we could do for next season. CJ.
I was just gonna add, like, the only thing I would add before firing up a full season is just make it easier for guys to draft and like have like a rankings or tier breakdown, just maybe some schedule predictions or something along those lines that would help facilitate some of the picks, because it's easy to go off the board and get lost really quick.
These sound like great tools for RickRunGood.com. I'll have to whip some up and see what we got going on. But you're right. It would be impossible to do this well without any type of resource in the current setup, I think.
Yeah, like it got a little hectic real quick, like Christoph Ventura in the 1st round. Like, he was
the first ranked guy.
Yeah, I know. It's like doing auto drafts on like Yahoo, and when you're prepping for fantasy football and he takes like a kicker in the 1st round, you just exit the draft right away because it's like everything's just messed up after that.
Oh boy. All right, CJ Cup. Let's turn our attention here. 78 of the best players in the world. Shadow Creek. I am very interested to see it again on TV. Phenomenal little course. I mean, what else about this event? No cut.
I'm just excited. Yeah, like this piece of property got shown for 18 holes during the match, and it seems like I don't know, like there's waterfalls that just shouldn't be there. There's so much going on in this gimmicky little course. It seems so over the top and so overdone that like it's perfect for the PGA Tour, and for that match that they had, it just definitely stands out. The picture of this piece of property in the middle of the desert is going to get shown. Yep. Hopefully they got the Goodyear blimp there, just cruising around, showing the desert, and then just this lush forest placed in the middle of the desert.
It's phenomenal. They get 12,000 rounds a year, which is like 30 rounds a day. So that could be like 8 groups a day play Shadow Creek. Pretty
much untouched. And like, from the quick videos, all the PGA Tour courses look like this, but it looks like it hasn't been played all summer. Like
it might not have been.
You're looking for a divot in the fairway around. I saw a Woodland video, and it's just like he's the only one who's hit a shot from this location all season. So it looks pretty, like it's in really good shape.
I'm pretty sure you have to stay at an MGM property, and then you got to pay like $550, $600, something like that, I think is how you play it.
Yeah, I think you have to definitely know someone or be like a VIP guest at the MGM too. Yeah. Which I guess they're throwing the betting live odds going into the PGA Tour this week. So I think MGM put a hand in that. But
rocket ship emoji.
To see. I'm excited to watch the broadcast to see how hard they butcher trying to predict live odds, or I don't know what they're gonna do.
There was a tweet that was like, "Oh, cool. The people who haven't been able to figure out the projected cut line for 5 years are going to try to do live odds." Great.
They probably will make a mockery of it, but it'll be interesting to see how they do intertwine it with the broadcast.
Listen, just embrace the fact that they're embracing it. This we've said for a long time, this is the natural progression. You've got to get it on the telecast. You have to start educating casual fans. It's got to be a part of it. It might be ugly at first, but this is very good for the industry, very good for golf, very good for us. So we'll see.
But I will, before I move on, I just think it is a slippery slope to be educating people on sports betting and gambling in the wrong way. And I've already did you see this aggregated story about the massive parlay that was hit in the, I guess it was the BMW PGA Championship? Like a guy turned like $2 into 600,000.
I didn't see that one, but I see stories like that all the time.
Like those are, I think those are bad stories to write about, and like dangerous, slippery slope, because that is like a lottery ticket and people can lose a lot of money trying to chase those things. So I think it's just a little bit of a dangerous game to be played. Like, there were some pretty some pretty big named outlets in the golf space writing about how this guy turned $200 into 600,000 because he hit like 12 two balls like in a parlay. I'm just like, probably never been happened before. And then some guy is going to go chase that and put $50 on a six man two ball and just completely just like, it's not that easy to do.
There's definitely, and I think Barstool gets a lot of hate for this because they are, I don't want to say glorifying, like putting $100,000, putting your life savings on a bet. And they're like an official sportsbook operator at this point. They're not just like kind of a college media company anymore. No. So it is definitely a gray area, a slippery slope, I think is a good way to put it. So you're right. I'll be very interested to see what they say. What are they? I mean, I imagine it'll be like, okay, it's Saturday afternoon or Sunday. They get to the back nine. So-and-so is plus 150 to win, meaning you have to put down 100 to win one. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like
hopefully they get that basic part of it right.
Yeah.
They've showed it on the PGA Tour Live where they'll just give like the 3-ball odds, or they'll have someone come from Golf Bet come in and give a pick for the group or whatever, which is fine. But I just hope they don't. I don't know. I hope they don't try to educate people in the wrong way, or just go down slippery slopes of like glorifying the fact that these people win all this money when really it's not easy at all.
Right. We'll see. We'll report back when we find out. Speaking of picks, CJ Cup. Actually, let's go back to Shriners last week. I had Denny McCarthy as my sleeper. You had Abraham Answer. Ooh, Abe Answer finished like fourth. Yeah.
Yeah.
McCarthy made the cut. I don't know what he ended up finishing, like T40 something probably.
I don't have that, but
top 10. You had Morikawa, who played well but missed the cut. I had Mr. Matthew Wolf, so that worked out. That was a good top 10. Our one and done, you went with Ricky Fowler, who, quite honestly, was
a nightmare.
It was 2 holes. Did you see what he took an 8 on?
I followed his 2 rounds way too closely. He played the par 5s like I would play par 5s, and then he just number 17, he dumped the ball in the water twice. So frustrating, but he seemed to be hitting it well off the tee. But that's about all I can say good about Fowler's week.
And I had Cantlay, who shared the 54-hole lead and finished 8th.
That's 6 under cut. Like, I was driving up north, ran out of service, and I logged on later that day, and I was like, "How did this cut get to 6 or 7 under?"
7 under.
That is.
I mean, Morikawa, Hideki, Harris English were all like 5 or 6 under and missed the cut. Like, I can't blame any of those guys for missing the cut.
No, you go shoot 60, 68, 60, whatever, 69, and you miss the cut.
That's fine.
Like, is that the highest cut like ever? I didn't see people tweeting. It
was definitely in recent memory. I believe it was one of the highest or lowest ever. Yeah. It was historic for sure.
Yeah. Tough bounce for Morikawa. I'm going back to the well with them though this week.
Okay, so let's jump into this. Sleepers. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up the odds here because everything shift after DJ withdrew. So I want to make sure I have the correct numbers here. Okay, EPAT, who would be your sleeper for this week's CJ Cup?
I'm gonna go with Bubba Watson.
Ooh.
Hitting it really well. This course is it's in the desert, but tree lined, and I think Bubba just likes the look of trees to help him guide those shots off the tee. Give me Bubba 7,300 on DK. Not bad.
Okay. I'm gonna take Russell Henley. From what I understand about Shadow Creek, I understand, and I don't know if this is correct or not. 2 things. 7,500 yards on the scorecard won't play that long. Play like 7,000. Also,
because of the elevation.
The elevation and kind of the way, like, you can cut some of the corners. A lot of them are downhill. The way that the yardage is put onto some of like the par 4s or par 5s, like it's not really in play. Also, from what I could tell, depending on where they put these pins, you have to be somewhat exact with your approach shots, or I think you can, if they shave down some of the banks, you can kind of lose it off.
I've heard that as well. Yeah.
So I'm going for approach players, which I think is a good strategy most weeks. So Henley at, I don't know what he's at now. He was 70-1 before the tournament started. He is 80-1 right now. That's on William Hill. the best approach player, short game approach player since the restart. He's the only guy averaging more than 1 stroke per round in this field. He's got 2 top 10s in his last 4 starts. I'm just going to think he continues to hit it well.
He's the one who wins the Houston Open every year, right?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, he's absolutely peaking at the right time for his
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
All right, top 10. So this is just a binary yes or no. I don't have mine ready yet, so you go first.
I'll stick with my first overall pick. I'll go Jon Rahm.
John?
For no other reason than he's really, really good at golf.
So because this is not an odds or a salary based thing, so I kind of have this belief that Matthew Wolff, you're paying like the absolute premium on him right now, right? Like just the absolute highest price ever.
Back-to-back runner-ups. I mean,
and he's looked
good. A little volatile.
He's been in contention. He's got a weapon in the bag. Like it's sexy.
I was surprised to see he's 12th in the world already.
It's crazy.
He ascended extremely quick since, I guess, the Rocket Mortgage. He went from outside the top 100 to 12.
I was going to say he was outside the top 100 at the restart, and he got there without a win, which is also
a couple top 5s in majors. So that'll get you up there in a hurry.
Remember, he had a whole year between top 10s.
He was that guy who, like, what was it? He won the 3M and then
didn't top 10 anything cuts, for a year.
Slowly figuring it out.
So I'm going to take Wolff because I like Wolff in formats that are not weighted or salaried or whatever, right? Because I think you're paying a big premium on him this week. But if it's just like one and done, I think is better because it's just you use him or you don't, like these binary situations. So I'm going to take Wolff in my top 10 as well. I think that's a good way to play it. Okay. One and done. So I had Cantlay over Fowler to you, so I go first. I've used Damon, Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay. You have used Doc Redman, Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, Ricky Fowler. Okay.
We got a long season. This is tough.
Yeah, we do have a long season. I'm going to burn. I'm going to use Xander right now. And what I think a lot of people might not realize, this is a big purse. 9.75 million, I believe.
It's almost 2 million to first.
I think it's actually more than next week. If you look at the PGA Tour's website, next week is 8 million, which is still big.
Zozo got a bit of a hit, I think, because you're not getting all those Japanese sponsor money and added in.
So this will be the biggest until Augusta, and then it'll be the biggest until Augusta again, right?
Something like that. Yeah, it sounds right. Unless there's a WGC, maybe Mexico, but.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Xander and say, okay.
It's a big tournament.
Yeah, right. This is a big tournament. Go, young man. Thrive in a no-cut event. He's been absolutely lights out. Just go. Go win me 2 million. So I'll take Xander.
Man, I have no idea who I'm going to take here.
It's actually really hard, yeah.
Just because you're thinking there's still 5 majors this season. There's a full calendar year to go, but I'll just stick with one of my picks to win, and it's going to be Colin Morikawa.
I love
back to the well.
I love this, by the way. I love any chance I can get like Hideki, Morikawa, Harris English, like those guys that were 5 or 6 under par last week and missed the cut and everybody hates now for no reason. Like I like going back to that.
Harris is going to win this fall swing. RSM, Mayakoba, Houston. He's going to win something.
I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this part.
Yeah.
I think he might.
I remember we were on him in Mayakoba last year, and he almost got it done. But I think he's going to win this in the next few weeks.
I mean, he has been the most under the radar best golfer in the last 8 months. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's on your team too. So good luck to you with Mr. Harris there.
I guess I already have 1 win under my belt this season with Harris English, and Hideki will probably win this week.
You think?
Will Zalatoris will probably win 2 or 3 times.
Zalatoris of Bermuda. He almost got his special temporary last week. So
yeah, I'm actually afraid that once he needs 5 more points, he's just he's not going to play every week again. He has.
I don't know. He is riding a heater right now. So
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Pat. What else is going on? The Score is where you can find Eric Patterson's work. Anything fun over there?
It's where you also can find Morikawa at 30-1 this week, which I think is the biggest number I've seen for him.
Oh my, 30.
He was at 28.
Will Hill has him at 22. So go get it at the score.
Hey, we might hang a juicy one or two on you. So
how do I see them? Do I have to live in the right spot, or is it only on the app?
Truthfully, I have like this makeshift, like the back of the network app type thing going on my phone. So I don't know how you see them outside of New Jersey, Indiana, Colorado. So I apologize, but he is 30 the last time I checked.
That would be a really good number. I'm trying to see what else I can
Sung J 45.
Yeah, see, dude, now Sung J's down to 35. You guys got all the best numbers over there.
Which is rare, but it seems like we're slowly drifting back above some of the market averages, which is nice.
Love it. Eric Patterson, you can find him on Twitter at @EPatGolf. You can find me at RickRunGood. This has been 300 Yards to Unknown, and we'll catch you next time.